I'll tell you that when a person dreams, he's charged again, energetically and spiritually, and therefore he needs this question. The Baal Shem Tov says that when a person prays, he needs to try to totally lose his corporeal consciousness, relatively, of course. And if he does not succeed to do that, he can't really pray correctly. Therefore, the dream is necessary for the dream. And sometimes we'll see some kind of vagueness which allows us to do all kind of things. The dream starts from a spiritual world. Anyone speak up? And don't someone speaks. Brain waves, all kind of the pulse, and so on. And these are things that help us to test, but the dream starts much earlier. The dream that we speak of, that we all know, we know it in pictures, like a movie that we see or search, or a movie that we experience. Only the end of the process comes to us. The dreaming starts from a total abstract place, and today we're going to learn how it comes to us. That it comes to us, when it comes to us, it comes in the form of pictures. The solution of the dream is more important than the picture of the dream, and that's what we're going to deal more with today. And in the second lesson, we talked a little bit about the consciousness. In order to understand the consciousness well, in order to get that place that we need to deal with. So we said that the entire reality that is observed outside of us, where do we see it? Only in our consciousness. I don't see nothing outside. When I see my friend Reuven in front of me, I do not see him. I see something in my consciousness. We see that like in this experience called Fata Morgana, or in a movie or a line that I see outside, or anything I see outside of myself, even if it was totally illusionary, but I thought that I saw it. Okay. This entire space is within your brain. You're sitting in the room and you think that you see that space of the room, but this entire space is within your consciousness. If you didn't have that space within your consciousness, you wouldn't be able to understand this place within your soul. When we dream at night, so we're sure that the actions we do are real, and even that we see a reality which is totally different, and we can do all kind of combinations in the dream, like a flying elephant or a knife that has wings, or anything that we can pretty much do in a dream. And why? Because the dream is not totally linked or attached to the corporeal rules, but this reality appears real to us. A philosophical question was asked, an interesting one, that asked whether there is a reality of awakening from this world to a reality where we can be sure that we were awakened from a dream. Perhaps everything we see here is a dream, and we'll awaken suddenly and say, hey, we were in a dream. This entire thing did not exist, and perhaps it will happen, and we'll see that all this was not for real. So where was it? It was within our consciousness. See how much we fight on what we have only as if it is within us, and we fight to appear beautiful, so we have money, to look good, so we'll succeed in the argument, and all this only a dream. And why would I care if it's a dream or not? We want to take advantage of this. Even the dreams, we'll see today that we want to take advantage of them for our purposes. And where's the goal or the purpose? Remember the rule of Machpelah, the rule of multiplication. What I see outside needs to instigate something within me, inside. I gave a present to my friend outside. I want something within me to change. I want to love. Even when I eat a carrot, I eat a carrot. I make an external action, but I want something internal to happen to me. And that's how we work. Therefore, we'll awaken and see that everything that we saw here was not real. And still, we'll have to see, what did we gain from this place? We saw in Sharik Dusha of Chaim Vital in the previous lesson, that a person's body is not the actual person, because this is called a person's flesh, and the person himself is called the mental soul or the godly soul, which is also in this world, and it is the real person. And everything we see on the part of the corporeal journey, these external images, these are not real. We gave the example of the car, that when a person's car being is hit, and he comes out and he says, "Hey, you hit me," and nobody hit you. Your car has been hit, but you associate your car as something close to you. So it's like when person's son has been armed, and he's very identified with him, so he feels like it's him, like he was hurt. We feel like it's us. The solution is our interpretation of what stimulates us to internal pictures. Remember this: the solution is our interpretation of what triggers us, or what stimulates us for internal pictures. I see something outside myself, and it triggers me, it stimulates me to think and to understand what it is that I see and how to interpret it. The solution of the dream is the interpretation, how I interpret it. And we saw signs from the Gemara. The conclusion from the second lesson was, you didn't see its end, but I'll also enter it here, that the solution is bigger, greater than the dream, and everything goes after the solution. Yeah? Remember this. So don't ask, oh wait, what really happened? What does it really mean? I'll ask you what the solution is. You have to see how you solve the dream. Up to here, if there are any questions on the first and second lesson, we will answer them right now. Let's give a few minutes for questions and answers, and then we'll move on to the third lesson, in which we'll speak about what happens in the upper worlds during the dream. We'll learn it from the Zohar. And then we'll speak about the solution of the dream. Yes. What's the difference between a sleep with a dream and without a dream on the soul part? There's no dream, there's no sleep with no dream. Some people remember, some people don't. It depends on the person's consciousness. I have no doubt that some of the people here, after the previous lesson, after we spoke about what happens at night when they went home, that's actually what my son told me, but I believe there are more people here. It happens in most courses here. And suddenly something happened that night. Who also had something that happened to him that night? Here you go. So here you see our very consciousness to this idea. When I spoke to you about that, by the way, something happened to me too in the dream. Why do we not remember a dream? There are all sorts of reasons for it, but perhaps instead of asking why do we not remember? Perhaps we should ask, how can we remember? So here, she wrote, a person needs to create signs within his dream. We learned that when a person wants to remember the dream, and when you are inside a dream and you know that you're going to create signs within a dream, it brings you to consciousness. And when you are with more consciousness within the dream and you're more aware, you can remember more details. A person who's not, many times a person comes and he puts the keys in the house when he comes home. Some people after 5 or 10 minutes need to actually look for the keys. But if you take the key and you say, here, I put the key on the table next to the cup, and you only say that and you wait 1 second, later the chance that you'll remember that you put it there is much higher. And sometimes foolish things happen to us, like when we're 3 or 4 or 5 years old, because we're in some sort of a high alertness, a moment of high alertness. Awareness is some kind of a mental experience, and when you're very aware, you remember it more. Therefore, in order to remember certain things, we need to go through an experience, and then we can remember it more. So when I brought you into some kind of awareness about dreams, that I sent you to go and do all kind of things within the dream, whether you liked it or not, you already were more aware, and you try to do something. And the more we speak about that, we go to speak, and that's what we're going to learn today. How should we go to sleep? We can see that we can actually plan dreams. We can evoke the dream in different ways. In a state of alertness, I feel that I control my awareness, that I know what I want, and I do like you tell me, with the keys and all that. But in the actual dream, I get awake to put an emphasis on this and that. Even now, you are in awareness to certain things, and to certain things you're not aware. But there are periods where you're very aware and you see everything that happens around you, and you remember all your thoughts, and there are periods where you remember that less, right? Same thing in the dream. It's also a type of a level of awareness, but we only need to practice. And there are people that everything they do without awareness. They work and they play with and they don't see that they're actually playing with something, and suddenly, bang, the vase falls on the floor, because they're hovering somewhere above, and they do all kind of things because they're not aware. And when a person is very alert to different things, there is a musical alertness. There's a person who has very high alertness to musical notes. Did you hear that? Yeah, he heard that. You didn't hear it. There's a person who is very alert or very aware of aesthetics or to external appearance. For example, I can ask my daughter, what did Shula wear 3 years ago at Dvora's wedding? I don't remember that we're in the wedding, but she remembers even what kind of shoes she had. I don't remember an hour after what she had. אתה שומע איתי? אולי עדיף לחזור לפה, איך זה נשמע? כי ככה תשמע מתי זה מתנתק. Therefore, what I'm answering you here, הנה זה ניתק, אז אם היית שומע היית יודע, אז איך זה נשמע שם ביוטיוב? כן? חכה, לא שומעים אותך בכלל, אני גם בקושי שומע אותו. הנה, עכשיו מהקהל שמעתי אותה. well, yeah, אבל אני צריך לשמוע אותו כדי שאני יודע מה הוא אומר, אני לפעמים לא בטוח. כן, לא, גם הרעש רקע פה, זה לא צחוק. טוב, בוא נמשיך. You'll see that gradually you're seemingly dreaming less proper, but you remember the dream more. Awareness is indeed an exertion, definitely. But then we get used to it. Yes. Rav, let's say I tell myself repeatedly perhaps 10 times a day, can it help me to remember the dream? Yes. Yes, it could help. Please. מה קורה שם? According to what the Rav said, whoever dreams that he is, for example, getting married to his... מה קורה? אחרי זה ניתן כאן. I'm sorry, if anyone wants to marry someone who is married, already married, whoever dreams that, but doesn't think about that during the day, but only dreamt it at night, that means that he's gonna gain the next world. That's what they say. But he didn't think about it during the day, so you thought that here I'm going to get married with this, and you only remember that you dreamt that, but you didn't want that during the day to get married with a woman who's already married. Do you understand? A person must not come to connect to the Holy Shekhinah, even if he already dreams that he's in the next world, like, which is like the next world. But if he gets married to a married woman before he's ready, of course it's something that... אני לא יכול ככה, אחי, אני שומע פה חצאי משפטים. רגע. This is prohibited. I have some experience from the previous years, and I'm making an effort. הכי קשה לשמוע, אני לא שומע מה הם אומרים שם. זה... קשה לשמוע, זה לא. What we need to do is not to make an effort. We need to be relaxed. The memory doesn't come from an effort. If I try hard to remember the thing, what word is it, what word is it, it's hard. When I let go, it suddenly surfaces. We need to also learn how to be relaxed, and then things will arise. So we'll practice the memory of a dream. Yes, please. You spoke about the fact that we don't think about it during the day, and I remember that I read once that a dream is important when we don't think about it 40 days prior. So let's say I didn't think about a person 40 days prior, and then I saw him in a dream. So not one day. I don't remember where I saw it. Yes, there is a matter of 40 days that gives us a spiritual force or strength. As it's written, that when a person wants to reach some kind of holiness, he needs to fast for 40 days and 40 nights, or not to speak for 40 days and 40 nights. And this is the degree of Bina. But it doesn't mean that he needs to remember that in that same day. But if a person wants to start making an action, it's recommended that during the day he will be busy, or his subconscious will be busy with this. But look, the lesson is not only how to memorize the dream. If you don't remember the dream, so there's no problem. The only problem is if you remember it. And if you don't have Play-Doh, you don't have to do anything from it. You don't need to create, for example, a Hanukkah from the Play-Doh. So only if you have it. If the dream has a purpose, so why, by way of nature, we forget the dream? Most of the dreams are obviously missed by the way of nature when we are not aware. So, and does the effect of the dream not affect the subconscious? These are great questions. First, not everyone is given the option to deal with dreams, because the dreams is a very subtle and pure matter. It's given through some kind of a sieve. So it's like you mentioned the subconscious. The subconscious, people have it, but we're not allowed to have access into the base of the programs in Itakot.
Yeah.
If you're gonna hit this key called A, then it will do one thing. So if same thing for us, we're not given the access. The more we want to become connected people, then we'll learn more internally. And if not, we have to be sure that the existence is enough. Whoever wants to use it with other things, then it can help. You ask me, does it help me if I'm not even aware of it? The answer is yes. It surely affects me or influences me, even if I don't want to. If it's like everything I do affects me, the base of the program affects. But if I can, in a real and a good manner, deal with this, and today we'll have a question how to deal with all sort of magis like prophets, or and they say all kind of
זהו?
נכנסת לי את הפיד שלי לתוכו, זה היה לי בפידבק.
אוקיי, סליחה.
So there is a matter that is recommended to deal with, but only if we know how to do it. And if not, it's better not to deal with it. And everyone wants to deal with the important things, but not everyone should do it. So let's see. How can we discern in the dream between clear significant signs or all sort of other things that come from things we deal in this world, like TV and so on and so on? We'll see later on. We'll see later on in the presentation, and we'll notice when it's real and when it's not, and we'll see that there are truly many deceits. And how should we know? Whatever our sages gave us as clear significant signs are real, and the ones that are not, we'll need to create some kind of interpretations, but they'll be real. So we'll always have some sort of a preset pattern, and we'll know it at the end of the lesson. It can also be in the middle of the lesson, so you should listen to the entire lesson. When a person is asleep, where does the soul rise or ascend, and what is it dependent upon? This is our question, and I will ask a few questions, and each time after the question we'll bring a quote from the Zohar and see what the Zohar teaches us. So the Zohar tells us in the Parashah of Hayei Sarah, in letter 130, come and see. Here we have learned that even in this world, when a person sleeps on his bed and the souls exit the body and need to wander in the world, not each and every soul wanders in a sense to see the glory and the honor of the Nitakoton. With a panim of Atik Yomin, which is a very high panim, partsuf. Rather, as it is withdrawn usually, according to his actions. And this is how his soul ascends. He's telling us that not each and every soul ascends to a very high place. There are souls that wander, but not to very distant places, rather more proximate places. The higher the place is, the purer it is, and the recharge effect there is much higher or stronger. To the extent that it's more close, or that it's closer, it's a lower degree. To the extent that the degree is closer, it's more corporeal and has less influence. When the soul ascends, it meets angels, and on the way it meets all sort of entities. What do the angels announce? Do we need? Let me talk. טוב. זה עדיין לא שם איש, אבל בסדר, אנחנו מתאמנים בינתיים. כן. וואלה? אוקיי. It could be a real thing, it could be not. The Zohar tells us, the Holy Zohar tells us, if a person is, meaning if a person is not pure, impurity is also from a person's pride. And when he's asleep and the soul exited him, all the spirits of impurity cling to him, and these are impure bunch of gang people, and it announces to the soul all kind of things that are about to happen in the world from what they heard from behind the curtain. And here's the catch: sometimes they announce falsehood and they laugh at her, meaning sometimes the soul goes or ascends, and when the soul descends, he goes through different divisions. And when it comes to the lower madorim, lower divisions, there are all kind of angels, harmful angels, that tell the soul all kind of things that didn't happen, and they kind of make fun of her, like you see when people do all kind of folly things, only to see how this person will react. And that's how the angels play with the souls, but they do it with souls that they can actually cling to. For example, it's also written here that sometimes they tell us an itak. Sometimes they announce to the soul correct things, but sometimes on the way down it means all kind of bad angels, and these angels, they tell the soul all kind of falsehoods and also true things, sometimes this way, sometimes the other way, and it doesn't know. And yeah, we really will not know. We need to learn how to filter the dreams. Now we understand that we are not, if we're not completely pure, we won't be able to interpret it, because the Zohar tells us, it says, if a person merited, what does it mean he merited? Meaning that he was able to pure himself. The word merit in Hebrew is the same letters like to purify, zacha. And when he's asleep and his soul ascends, his soul wanders and penetrates a certain way for it between the spirits of impurity, and they all announce and say. In order to understand that more, you can also see it in our world. You hear a friend that tells you something, and you know that it's not true, and you tell him, no, come on, it can't be. This news is not rational. And we check and we see that it really was not that way. And how do you know that? Because you have some kind of a healthy For example, if a friend tells you, I have a friend that wins the lottery every week and he has the right numbers, and you tell him it can't be. Or he tells you, this child did such and such and his father came and he hit this child, you say, no, that can't be. Why can't it be? Because your rationale tells you that this cannot happen. Based on regular, if you have a healthy when if it's somebody you hate, you like hearing bad things about him, so the more bad things are told about him looks real to you, and therefore we need to have our attentiveness. They did tests with people and they saw to what extent they're able to perceive quality. Oh man, And they saw there are people that, because they're very qualitative people, they were able to perceive more things, and the other people saw other things. Meaning, we need to see that even with the soul, the same thing happens. Notice that these are the same things. It just comes in a different type of matter. And when the soul, which is not clean, it doesn't have a clear logic, it takes these. We need to know the person and understand what kind of distortions he has, because these falsehoods or lies that he brings with him, they come with the same form. What happens when the soul descends to the goof? What actually is a descent to a body? The body, the way we feel it. So he tells us, the Holy Zohar, that it descends, meaning the soul. It descends from the upper world and it returns to the body, and all these mixed camps, meaning such angels of holiness and impurity, are being used in some kind of a mix, all sorts of upper forces like that. They want to come close to the soul, to know the same thing which she heard, meaning the soul ascends to the upper worlds, and when it descends, לא, זה ניתק עוד פעם. טוב, עדיף ש... טוב, לא חשוב. לא, כי אני כל פעם צריך להגיד לך, אז אני לא יודע, אולי לא עדיף שתשמע את זה? אבל בעצם זה לא משנה, אתה יודע. לא משנה, בסדר, בכל מקרה. לא, קור, בסדר. באמת שזה לא משנה, אני אסמן לך פשוט את זה.
אני רואה את זה, פשוט אתה...
לא, כי אז כאילו אפשר קצת יותר מהר אולי, אבל באמת זה לא משנה. כן, 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 כן. 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 טוב, בוא נחזור. Same thing. There are angels that want to hear what happened up there when the soul goes down. And then they come and they want to know that same thing of truth that the soul heard. And the same thing that it took from these holy upper places. Hold on. And these same angels tell her something different. And the same thing that the soul took from these upper holy places. Among these things, it's like so how does it happen? A person hears something real and he hears the Zohar and he goes out and he talks to people and he sees some clip on YouTube, or he reads something of news, and everything is mixed within his mind, so he doesn't even know what's what. He heard something here, heard something there. See how important it is not to allow incorrect matter into our mind. And then when it descends to the world and it doesn't know, meaning the soul, it doesn't know how to interpret what's real and what's not, because everything is mixed. Notice that our soul, when it's awakened, it can be very excited or very happy, but you should know that most times it's very excited. It's excited from things that happen to us in the dream and we don't know how to interpret them. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Holy Blessed Be, He gave us this ability to remember, to forget the dream. And it's like a memory that's being forgotten. And then we can redream the same dream. No, not sure. Oh. לא, זה נקטף. עוד פעם. understood that each and every soul gets real information from the upper worlds, and that it's mixed on the way down. I don't want to get into too many details here, but in the upper worlds, we're all not pure, and we all rise there, and then we see real things, but we also see things that are not real. To the extent that we're more pure, we can actually filter more of the incorrect things. So when somebody comes and tells you a dream, you need to know how to purify his dream, to be able to interpret his dream correctly. And what we want to do today is to give some sort of indices which are clear as of how to interpret a dream, so it doesn't come here incorrectly. And also, I want to convince you that it is correct to interpret this way. So what controls the dream? The dream, after all, we dream all kind of dreams. A person dreams, I saw an elephant, for example, and an elephant is some kind of a wonder. It could be a good wonder or something not wondrous. If you saw a big elephant, it's a big wonder, and if you saw many elephants, it's wonders of wonders. So what controls? The Zohar, the Holy Zohar tells us in Parashat Vayeshev, come and see. Each dream which comes from this degree, meaning from the angel of Gabriel, and because it comes from an angel, meaning the angel of Gabriel, therefore you do not have a dream that will not be mixed with some falsehood, because some of them are truthful and some of them are falsehood, and you don't have a dream that doesn't have from this side and from that side. Well, but that's not enough, so I'll say verbally here that what controls the dream to go this way or the other? The answer should be, hold on, according to the solution. According to the solution, that's how the dream will go. If you interpret it in a certain manner, and we'll see a quote about it later. If you, doesn't he talk? Man, that's a משפט, אתה דבר טוב. אני לא יודע שהוא אמר. על זה הוא אמר את זה או לא? What is it similar to in our world? A child comes and tells his parents, I hit a child in school and he was bleeding from his nose, and the mother says, oh, come on, how could you do that? And the father says, but did you win? So we don't need to hit children, of course. It was by way of a joke. But did something good happen in this? Of course, otherwise would it happen? Now I need to purify it and to see the good thing within it and to use that. Nitak. Now, we ask ourselves, can we actually listen to all kind of people who are mystics? All kind of people that say, let's go and listen to all kind of autistic children. These are all rubbish. Do not believe them. Do not think that this is what tells us prophecies. Rather, these are things that are mixed with a lot of falsehood. So do not believe to all sorts of mystics, but instead of believing them, I'll give you a way today by which you can actually look at that and interpret correctly. How to go to sleep. The Holy Zohar says, because we have everything within a dream, both truthful and falsehood, like the crop with the straw and the hay. Therefore, all the solutions of the dream go according to the words of the mouth, as it is written, as he solved for us, that's the way it will be. Meaning it goes by the way it is solved. So why didn't Yosef solve it the way he wanted to the minister of bakery? So therefore the word of the solution is what controls everything. That's what actually makes, and according to that, we need a good solution. Meaning the dream needs a good solution. You need to learn how to solve it good. As we said in relationship, something you all should know. I say it many times. When your wife screams at you, "I'm upset with you," what should you tell her? Ophel, "I also love you." Why? Because I want to interpret it this way. And what's the truth? Is the truth that it is such? It's according to what you will solve. Does she have love towards you? She does. How much? 3%? Use these 3%. Why do you need to relate to the 97%? The rest is straw, it's chaff. But not always can we do that. We can't always relate to the positive thing that we have, or to put it in a good framework. But we do have a role to put it in a good framework and to live by that. The same thing with a dream. You should notice that after the soul, we deal also in the psychological behaviors. You have to solve it in the correct manner. Rabbi Yehuda says, because each dream is from a degree from below, meaning the angel of Gabriel, and speaking, which is the secret of Nukba, controls it on the angel. Therefore, what does it mean, Libu, speaking? It's how you take it out, how you manifest it. And the way you'll solve it, that's the way the dream will be. There's a big matter that when you come to deal with a dream, you also influence what other people think about the dream. Therefore, let's say you dreamed a dream that got you very excited. Who are you allowed to tell this dream, and whom not? The answer is correct. To people who love you, who want your well-being, who have a good eye. And if you have a bad eye, do not even tell it to yourself. Or people who are optimistic, right? Are these really the people you tell the dreams to? Good. So the Zohar tells us, and Yosef dreamed a dream, and he said it. So from here we learn that we should only tell the dream to a person that loves us, and if not, it brings upon negativity. What is that? What you dreamt of? A camel? Oh my God! Don't ask. No, זה ניתק עוד פעם. רגע, מה קורה פה? זה? אוקיי. זה ניתק.
הוא גורם לו רע כי מחלות יתהפך לדבר אחר, הוא שגרם להסתלק הוראת החלום האמיתית על ידי פתרונו. כי הוא פתר את זה לא טוב.
So he solved it incorrectly because of that person. She's asking, are there no bad dreams? Is there something in life which is bad? The answer is such. On the path, we feel many things which are bad. But our question is, even in internality, a person feels despaired and frustrated. For example, a person that once talked to me, and 4 of his daughters were murdered. What am I going to tell him? It's a good thing that it happened. It's not a good thing, right? Zenitak. So if something really bad happened to a person, and he feels it as negative, it happened to me too. So the question is, where do we take it? If you agree that the HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the blessed be He, did and does and will do good things, do you believe in that? Yes. So even though it's very remote, it gives us an opening to try and see what is it I can gain from this, something positive. If a person descended and he only sees the descent, and he says, I wanted to jump high, why did I go down? But he understands that in order to jump, and if he sees the big picture, he'll understand that he had to go down. Did it happen to you once that what happened to Yosef when he told his dream to his brothers? Because Yosef told his dream to his brothers, and therefore they brought upon him to be delayed for 22 years. So Rabbi Yossi tells us that's a license. טוב, זה לא רציני, obviously. It's nice for practice, אבל זה לא רציני, אי אפשר להביא ככה מוצר.
הבנק לא, חברת אשראי לא אישרו לי את המסגרת האשראי של זה שרציתי. רציתי כזה של המסגרת של 5.5, לא את המחשב.
כן, נו.
לא אישרו.
Not to click the fingers 3 times a day. Why? Because it doesn't bring me to the purpose. He definitely told me something that advances me to the goal. Why? Try to think now that you come to tell somebody something and you want is good. What are you going to tell him? Things that are leading to the good thing in his life. And you'll tell him what actions he needs to do in order to advance to this place. Yes. The thing is that when it's so open, we can reach all kind of fantasies, or enter all kind of fantasies. Like, for example, if I see a card which has the number 3, then I'll think that I have to sleep 3 hours in the afternoon, and that's what's going to advance me. And if you sleep, what's going to happen? You have to get it close to some kind of a value that you have, which is a derivative of the main goal. But but generally, it doesn't really matter what I dream then. No, it actually also doesn't matter what you dream, what you see. You always have to love. Doesn't matter what you do now. Let's say you go with your daughter to a dinner, and you can also arrange the closet at home with her, and you can also go to swim with her. It doesn't really matter what we do, but each one of the things we'll be able to use for the goal we want to reach. It's all a game around. What does it matter what I play with a child, with a ball or with Play-Doh? I want to connect with him, so I either use the ball to connect to him, or I use conversation to connect to him. So I'll see in life what is I need to do in order to reach the goals I want, and I'll try to connect to the more internal things. What is the basic pattern of the solution of a dream? The Creator is good and benevolent. First of all, I have to say the Creator is good and benevolent. What I saw, definitely what I saw is good. Everything I saw, whether good or bad, it's a sign for work I need to do on myself. And these are the questions I need to hear when I see a dream. It's definitely for the better, but I have to be focused on that. Whatever I saw, it doesn't matter if I saw that I was killed or I wasn't. Even if I saw that I was killed in the dream and a snake came and swallowed me or devoured, I need to understand that this is for good. Let me talk. But it also tells me what kind of work I need to do. The work is always something that qualifies me to love Hashem, or some of the kind of derivatives. So to love Hashem is something which is very remote. It doesn't help me to say, oh, okay, I want to love the Creator. It's so remote. I have so many other goals which are more proximate. So therefore we have other patterns in life. What type of patterns, for example? So first of all, they have to be derivative. For example, familyhood. I dreamed of a good family relationship, and it's a value that is derived from this. Or, for example, helping other people, confidence, helping others, quality, depth, creativity. Meaning, I want to solve according to these values. I don't want to interpret through things that are negative, like, oh, I'll probably get sick, or, and why? Because it goes according to the solution. So what my thought is what actually dictates? Yes. Why do we need? Is the solution? How do we, if you're so frustrated, how is it that you do not interpret reality correctly? What happened? Are you cold? Okay. No problem. Please. You see? Everything is good. People came to Baal Salam once, and the women didn't want the husbands to study at night, so the women came and they threw stones on the windows, and they screamed, and they made some kind of so he opened the windows, and window told him, you can do whatever you want, you can even break the windows, and with one word, everything can actually get organized here. They got so scared and they went away. And his children told him, what is it you would do? And he said, I would just say, let me talk. He has a specific mission for his life. For example, A person has problems with sustenance. These are current tasks a person has. עוד פעם ניתק איש. לא יודע איש. זה קצת קשה כך.
אבל כל הפעולות האלה שיש לנו בחיים...
But all these actions we have in life... לא, אתה מבין? לא, זה ניתק עוד פעם איש. הקטע שזה ניתק כל הזמן, זה גם אליו לא בפוקוס. אני אליו לא מתייחס ברצינות. כאילו יותר מדי. אני לא בשיא הפוקוס שלי, כי אני יודע שזה הולך להתנתק. אז גם לא מוצאים ממני את המיטב. אם הייתי יודע שזה זורם, הייתי נכנס יותר להלך רוח, יותר בפוקוס. אני גם לא בפוקוס 100%. כי זה כאילו ניתק לי כל הזמן, אז כאילו, מה זה משנה? אתה מבין? טוב, בסדר, זה אימון טוב, אחי. אנחנו נגיע לזה כשיהיה את המחשב, אני מקווה. אני מקווה רק שזה באמת בעיה של המחשב, ולא משהו באינטרנט. כי זה נשמע כאילו קטיעות כאלה שקשורות למהירות שלו.